Hello everyone and welcome back to my Direwolf Feed the Beast Let's Play. This is of course on Minecraft version 1.10. There's been a lot of moves lately to new versions for modded Minecraft, and that's pretty exciting. But today we're going to be playing on this version and this map that I've been slowly developing. I just turned off my map levels because I had flickering trees and that seemed to fix it. Unfortunately it broke one of my textures. The Engineer's Voltmeter texture is completely borked. But as far as I can tell, that's the only thing that's wrong. I turned off my tree farm for less lag, also. Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to look at my new power system that I have set up, and we're going to expand it. So, little two-part today. First of all, we're going to come down here and deal with this guy. I don't know what he's doing hanging around. There we go. Okay, that's noisy. Anyways, in fact, let's just turn off hostile mob sounds because we don't need them on. Hostile creatures all the way off. Okay, so I have some farms on there. I think I showed those off last time or not. I don't remember. Okay, so we're still gonna hear that. This is my new power system. So this uses the thermoelectric generators from Immersive Engineering, and we have a nice little setup here for them, and they are being fed into the HV wire relays and eventually into the HV capacitor. And if we have our little thing here, we could see basically the same information that Wayla is giving us, so that's nice. We don't really need that, although we can use it. Well, actually we don't even need it for this. So we can see that some of these have a little bit of power in them. Most of them don't have any power in them. Basically, how these work is you put down the generator block, and then you put something really hot on one side and something really cold on the other side. And then the greater the temperature difference, the more energy it produces. So I've got a chart, and you can find the same chart on the FTB Gamepedia. And I've got that open right now. And let me go ahead and tab over to that real quick. So just reading through this, we could see that the best and most optimal setup involves blazing pyrithium, which is from thermal expansion, and gelid cyrithium, however you pronounce it. I'm not really sure. And use that on each side. That produces 31 redstone flux per tick. Now I'm using pack dice. That produces 30 redstone flux per tick. I didn't think it was worth it to make the gelid stuff too. I guess if you want to do lava in packed ice, you would only get 16, so that's a pretty big step down. And you double the output if you have them on each side. So I have 31 this way and 30 this way and 30 this way. So that gives me 60 redstone flux per tick, which is a decent amount for completely passive, uninterrupted power. You just hook it up and it goes. But what I wanted to do was to fill in some more spots. I don't know exactly how many. I've got to do an inventory check. There are some challenges to building a room like this. One of those challenges is that the pyrithium will light things on fire if you're not careful. So what I do is I dig this out, and we'll have to go build the stuff, but basically if you kind of link them together as I have here, and in fact if I did a row or a column next to these guys, that would even save me more space, but I'll probably do that later. And in the meantime, basically, I just do this, and this gives me my setup that I need. Perfect. Okay. So we just want to get some torches. Oh, we already have them on my hotbar, of course. I totally missed them. And yeah, that, like, for example, this will be the next kind of row that we're working with here. So if I grab my swapping rod, oh, I don't have a lot of stone bricks, unfortunately. Oh, I have it set on the wrong setting. How did I do that? Switch to swapping with selected block. Okay, cool. Yeah, and now I don't have the block. Okay, so let's go back upstairs real quick, and we will start manufacturing a whole bunch of these. So there's a few steps to all of this. Step number one, we got to make thermoelectric generator. So this is, of course, Immersive Engineering. We're going to need this Constantan plate, which is basically a Constantan ingot, and you punch it with engineer's hammer. The Constantan ingot is a blend from nickel and copper. Now, getting nickel is not easy. It is about as rare as diamond in the pack that I'm playing, and I believe it usually does come across that. It does end up being somewhere around there. It's used for making ferrous materials. So if you're used to making Invar, you're probably familiar with hunting for this pulverized nickel. So exactly, here is the Invar blend. For our purposes, we of course need to punch it together with copper. Bloop. So hopefully I have a good supply. Okay, I've got some copper. I don't have a lot. Hopefully this is enough. So 60 grit. So now we're going to go back up here and punch this into the furnace and get this cooked up. Probably all we'll need, just to kind of show how I set this up. And I'll probably make more later. So that's going to go ahead and run. So the way I've been able to get more nickel is with a pulverizer, and this is a maxed out resonant resonant pulverizer, and it's augmented with all of these auxiliary sieves. Now my understanding is that this increases the odds of getting a secondary output by 11%. And if you look at, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it because I don't know how early it is on here. Okay, so forget I did that. If we look at, for example, iron ore, we look at uses, we look at the pulverizer, wherever it is, there it is. We can see that there is a 10% chance of getting nickel. Now, I don't know if it's additive. It's got to be additive, I imagine. So with 4 of them, that's an additional 44%. That brings you up to 54%. So just over half the time when I pulverize iron, I'm getting out the nickel. And of course, iron is a dime a dozen. It's really easy to get. In this case, I can actually get quite a bit of nickel, even though it's generally pretty rare. Another thing you need for the... let me go back to it. For this guy is steel. Now originally I was making steel very slowly in the blast furnace, but I discovered a way easier way. No need to use the Immersive Engineering coke oven and blast furnace because there is a recipe, I don't know why this recipe is in the game, where if you have nuggets, iron nuggets, and you put them into a furnace, the output is steel nuggets, which you can then turn into steel ingots. I don't know what adds that recipe, but it's super handy. It basically just allows you to put iron through a furnace, get steel, which is kind of cheaty in my opinion. And then of course we need the pyrithium dust. So what we do with the pyrithium dust is we go and we cook it, and we turn it into the liquid, and that will get transposed. I have some bliss powder for something else that I was doing. We just need our buckets, put the buckets in here. As this fills up, it will output the buckets out here. I also have some leftover pyrithium from some earlier stuff. And so as this stuff gets ported out, we need to make a hammer. That's really important. So the hammer is just like that. And then we need cables. So we're going to need wires because this is immersive engineering. We're going to need HV wire connectors. We probably don't need a relay because I think we have enough. But we're going to need HV wire connectors for every single generator we make. So let's say we make 4 generators. We're going to need 4 of these wire connectors. We're also going to need the HV wires themselves. So if we look at HV wires, they are HV wire coils. They require steel wires and aluminum wires. So aluminum ingots right here, and these guys are just made. I'm just gonna make a bunch of them, and then we need shears, and then we need steel, which I have some on me. Okay, so what we do is we make, example 10. I made 11. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, and then we go ahead and cut that up. Alright, and then this is going to be an odd number. I should have made 1 more of each. Yeah, we need 1 more of each. Otherwise, I'm just going to have a weird number of uh, of plates. Okay, so then we do shear the last ones here, and shear the last, oop, not that one. Shear that guy. Okay, cool. And then we do 1, 2, 3, 4. And we can make 6 of these. There we go. There we go. Okay, cool. So we got 24, which is way overkill for what we're going to do today. But alternatively, we can make these. We can make more of these connectors. So 8 is more than we're going to make, so that's fine. And then we have the constant stuff. We do have some grit in here already, and we get some nuggets, enough for 1 ingot. Interesting. Okay. So then we have this. So if we are going to make... We might as well just make this all into plates. Thermostatic. Because it's going to take plates all across the board, so we might as well just make them all into plates, because that's the only thing I use them for these days. Okay, so we got a stack of plates. Then we need our steel, which we don't have a lot of right now. But we did just make a bunch of steel nuggets, so we can turn those into some more steel. That gives us 21. That's enough for 7. And then we need this guy, which is the copper coil. These take the coil blocks, so we just want to spam these guys. So in this case, I don't think I have... Yeah, I don't have enough copper wire. Copper wire is exactly the same process as the other wires. So copper wire takes copper. Let's make half a stack. And let's take this. I'm gonna run out of my hammer. I did run out of my hammer. Let's make another hammer real quick. Hold on. There we go. And copper again. 6, 7, 8. Let's make 20. Oops. Okay, that's 21. Anyways, close enough. And then we need sticks. Again. And then we need to shear the plates. Okay, so this gets us 21, which is a weird number, but it'll work, I think. I think this is enough. Or isn't it? 24, that is... Oh, that's only 3 of them. Yeah, it's only 3 of them. Whoops. Yeah, so you do need a lot of copper in general to make these big copper coils. And then shear them up into wires. Oh, my shears are gone. Oop. I'm just clicking into nothing. Okay, and the rest of the plates. Cool. Okay, this should give us just enough to kind of do what we're working on today. Oops. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm misclicking. If you've ever seen Direwolf play, he is a master at just clicking through things. I think 4 is what we need. Is 4 what we need? Well, we'll try 4 and then we'll see what happens. Alright, so we have everything to make this. So let's punch them in. 1. Oops. Okay, let's start. Let's do that again. Oh, I can't. I can't do that the way I wanted to. Alright, so we have 4 of these now. We have these guys. We have our buckets. Do we have ice? So ice is another important one. Luckily, we have some ice left over. But otherwise, we can create ice. So the way I create packed ice is with Botania, because finding ice biome has been difficult. I do see that skeleton. Not sure if I actually hit him. Oh, he spawned XP, so I must have hit him. So a pure daisy is a good way to turn regular ice into whatever you call it. Regular ice into packed ice. It will do that process automatically. Now, what if you... Where am I? What if you don't have regular ice? Because you can't find it, or whatever reason you have that it's not around. What do? So what you can do is you can take snow, and you can get snow from, again, pure daisies. So if you have a pure daisy, it will turn nearby water into snow, and I have these automatic breakers. Watch out for these guys. Jeez, look at all the dudes. And they break up the snow. I get the snow. I take this over to my little crafting altar, the alchemy catalyst. Put them in. Oop, some of them went in, some of them didn't. And then we can get 8 ice and put the ice down around the pure daisy. Cool. We are done. So that will turn into packed ice. We should have enough though. Then we just need this stuff. That's not going to be nearly enough. Let me go ahead and dump off some of this because we have way too much. Marble. Okay, and let's get rid of those. What are we short on? Okay, we're just short in general. Alright, cool. So let's go set this up, finally. Alright, so what we do is we start off by putting down the electric generators. So we're going to put one here, one here, one here, one here. Looks like we put 2 more down. I might put those in later. And then we want to put down the pyrotheum last, if you can. So packed ice does not melt, so we don't have to worry about that. So I put the packed ice all on this side. That gives me a little less to worry about. And then I basically do every other block along the middle. So that'll be right here. Okay, so that is all set up. And then what we do is we put torches down. So the reason we do that is, I guess I'll show you why we do that, is because of this. If I put this down, it will begin to light everything on fire. So we don't want that if we can avoid it. Instead, what we'll do is we'll put torches down because a block with a torch on it cannot be lit on fire. Or really anything else on it. So anything else at its level won't matter, so it doesn't really make a huge difference. But like if it's a block above it or a block below it, it won't matter. And in the case of these things, I'm not going to put torches on top of them. I'm going to put the HV wire connectors on top of them. Okay, and then we have the blazing pyrotheum. It's going to go here, 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 here. Alright, there we go. So that's basically that line of 4 is pretty much set up and done. I didn't realize quite how far away that was. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, I'm thinking, that is a little out there. And so let's see, these guys go all the way here. Let's go right here. Can I make a wire connection from here? Here? Yes, I can. Awesome. Alright, so if we look at these guys, we can see that they're now holding the maximum amount that they can hold. So that's a good sign. And it drained it. Good. Alright, so we got a secure connection. Alright, there we go. That's 4 more added to the pile. That's another, what did I say? 60 redstone flux per tick per each one. So we've got 240 redstone flux per tick that I just added at fairly minimal cost. And again, you can mass produce these pretty easily once you've got the setup for it. A pulverizer really helps. So this is outputting energy. So where is all this energy going? Why am I draining so much power? I'm using up all of my power right now. Well, this thing is only connected to one block. Well, it's connected to this, but it's off. It's going to the quantum quarry. So the quantum quarry, you can see every time it hits that 20,000 redstone flux cap, it's producing a block. I do have a filter on it so that it's excluding those blocks. They get blacklisted immediately. But everything else gets output to this chest right here. And if you sit here and it doesn't hit... Oh, there's a tin ore. Right, so every time it's getting cobblestone or dirt, it's just deleting them immediately, not putting them in the chest. But every time it doesn't get that, it's going to put them in the chest, and that's going to get imported into my refined storage system. I had to double check and make sure I knew what that was. So sometimes it goes quite a long time before I get anything. So this is not as efficient as you would hope it is, but it is lag free, and I do appreciate that. In fact, this whole setup is basically lag free. So there's 2 iron that just came through, and again, those iron are gonna get. Oh, I have no food. Can't run. Those iron are gonna get put upstairs, where they are going to be processed in the pulverizer. Hopefully, at some point. At some point, maybe? Or maybe they already went through? Oh, they might have already gone through. I do have this hooked up now, I think. So that it will export whatever gets output here into the powered furnace. But you'll see these kick on, from time to time. There's a tin ore from that machine. So eventually, I want to see how many of those I can hook up before I get some really good rates on the quantum quarry. That might be my power system for the time being. It's a lot easier to set those up than it is to set up the water wheels. Although the water wheels are, they're decently comparable. And I certainly wouldn't say that they're bad by any means. It's hard to tell what they're actually outputting, though. Anyways, that's it for me today. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about my setup, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll try to answer it. If you have any suggestions for any other power systems to try, like early mid-game power systems, I would definitely be down for that, because I want to explore some different power setups before I just go heavy on big reactors and that sort of thing. So thank you for watching, and until next time then.